Hi, it's Marcy Kennedy here. I am here with my friend Reseller Mom. We wanted to hop on and just do a special episode about the inventory performance index changes that Amazon's going to start implementing come January 1st. I'm Marcy, and I sell mostly on Amazon, and I dabble a little bit in eBay. So, Reseller Mom, you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, I'm Reseller Mom, or Lucy, but I've been called Mom in many places. Sometimes it's an endearment, sometimes it's not. It depends on a lot of my employees would call me Mom because I was always watching out for them, and sometimes they would say it lovingly and sometimes not. But Reseller Mom here, and I sell mainly on Amazon FBA. I do a little bit of eBay, but mainly for my Amazon returns. And yeah, I also have like a merch by Amazon and an associate store and, other small streams of revenue. And I think it's important to always be looking at what all the online platforms are doing.
Diversify, diversify.
Mm-hmm.
So hello to Craig, the land shark picker, and Karen at the beach. Which beach do you live at, Karen?
I would like to go to the beach.
I need a beach day. When we moved to Orlando, I used to take a lot of beach days. I haven't taken one in a long time now. So let's jump into it.
Yes.
So, all right. I did put down in the details section and the description, I put down the help article that I went to that's in Amazon Seller Central for IPI. But pretty much effective January 1st, 2020, this is per Amazon. We are changing the IPI threshold for storage limits to 400, and it was previously 350. Storage limits will continue to be evaluated each quarter. Bottom line is, if your IPI score is still below 400 during the week of December 23rd, 2019, storage limits will apply for Q1 of 2020. So pretty much IPI is, it relates directly to the storage that's allotted for each seller. And of course, if you have storage limits, it's going to limit the amount of volume you can send in to Amazon to sell. So that's why it's so important. So sellers who maintain an IPI score of greater than 400 will have unlimited storage for standard size and oversized items. To top it off, though, they did give us a bone, even though they're changing this during Q4, that right now until January 31st, or unless if they close the program sooner, they're allowing for free removals.
Yes. And I think we ought to note that on those free removals that they say it's free, but they always caveat that they can change that at any time.
Yes. Yes.
So if you are planning, don't plan, what are we on, the 25th right now? We have till the 31st. Mm-hmm. Don't plan on like the night of the 31st to be doing this. This is, usually it's on Eastern Standard Time. So I've been caught up in that before, where I'm in Pacific Standard Time and I've done some late orders or late things. And then all of a sudden I'm like, wait a minute, what happened?
Yeah, they don't specify it.
And
wait a minute. I'm sorry. No, they do. This promotion ends at 11:59 Pacific Time on October 31st, 2019.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. But yeah, I was doing some online arbitrage shopping, and there was this thing on sale, and I didn't check out my cart soon enough, and then it rolled over on whatever time zone it was, and then it wasn't on sale anymore. I'm like, what the heck? But that's because I work a lot of late nights. But anyhow, you still don't want to wait until last minute. You never know what's going to happen either on their behalf or on your behalf. I mean, life happens, and sometimes you get
I think all of this, because the IPI, from what I understand, is a big picture of what your inventory has been doing in the last 12 weeks. So really, pretty much everything that we're going to be talking about is centered around planning. It's all planning. It's not, something that you're going to do today and then you're going to see the results next week. It's, you have to plan. A lot of the, when I was doing my research, the biggest takeaway was that you need to do this look at your IPI score and take care of it on a regular basis, if not daily.
Yes, that is exactly right. I got, let's see here, over the summer, my IPI score started to get a little on the low side. And so I was like, wait a minute, okay, I need to dive into this because I don't want to get caught. I was good in the good zone, but I didn't want to get, I just wanted to keep on track of it. And
Sure.
so I went through and did a whole bunch of cleaning up and, closed listings that were over 30 days and, my restock inventory. And I put a bunch of sales on the excess stuff and things like that. And then, the next day there was no change. And the next day there was no change. And a week later there was no change. And so I wound up emailing them and I'm like, why is there no change? And they said, oh, it calculates the average of the last, is it 12 weeks?
That was what I had heard.
12 weeks. And so, you need to do good every time to get that average up. So this is, again, one of those things that you got to stay on top with, especially now that the threshold is going to be a little bit higher. And I'm actually not at the threshold. I'm 391. So I'm sending a bunch of stuff back and Q4 should wipe everything out. And so hopefully by January 1st, my average will be well above the 400 level. That's the plan.
That is the plan. And we need to preface this by saying that Amazon has not released the exact equation about the IPI. They didn't release, the equation about how do you get to a 500, for example. So pretty much we just know what goes into the IPI. What is it scored on?
Exactly. And I'm, you got to think of them as a company. They're not a warehouse company. They are a selling company. And so they want their inventory to move. They don't want to just have stuff sitting on shelves. And yes, you do pay for that storage space, but they want to see the inventory moving over.
That's not where they make their money.
Exactly. So they are going to, into this calculation, put kind of the space and the time that your item is in there. So if you have big bulky items, maybe it applies a little bit more to those, or if you have smaller items or more of, all of those are going to factor in.
Let me just back up just a minute back to the free removals. One thing I left out that's very, very, very important is you will not be able to send us more units of any ASINs you remove during the promotion until January 31st of 2020, when the restriction expires, or 2, your inventory level for the removed ASINs falls below your sales over the last 90 days for those removed ASINs. So that's caveat there.
That was huge, because normally they don't allow you to send back for like 6 months. And so a lot of people plan on selling it on eBay or having a garage sale or whatever. But January 1st is not that far away.
31st.
January 31st? Is it, even so, that's not that far away. So right. That is really big, because if you do have some inventory, I know I had some that I took back, like 80% of it and let the other 20% go through Q4. And so now I need to watch those levels. And if they fall down, I can send back more, or just wait until the 31st and send it back. If it's good product.
Right.
If it's not, then garage sale, here we come.
Yeah, I've got my porch sale coming up a week from tomorrow. So a lot of my stuff is going there.
The one thing I wanted to bring up on this bit of the topic was, when you return stuff, you have kind of a couple options. You can sometimes you can liquidate it. They have a liquidation option. I have done that before with products. It's not very lucrative, but if you're just going to destroy the item, you may as well get a little bit of money for it. And then they sometimes have the ability to donate to charity. Those have to be options when you're going through that checkout, though. It's not just, you can't just pick that if you want it. And then the other two that you always will have the option to do is either to return it to yourself or whatever address you want, which is sometimes nice. You can send it somewhere else. And then to dispose of it for a dime on regular time or not. What I wanted to say, though, is when you choose the disposal option, that doesn't mean that it goes into like a big fire pit. it goes to liquidation companies. So if you're on the purchasing end and you are looking at, going wholesale or buying big lots or something, that's what a lot of these companies do, is they are scooping up all this junk
Amazon
during this time, and they're going to resell it. And so if you want to
or
sell on Amazon,
will sometimes even take the inventory and sell it.
Amazon will do that too. So if you are wanting to scoop in on this inventory, just be noting that it's not good inventory to sell back to Amazon. One, you're not going to have the receipts for it, and two, a lot of it's been just manhandled. And so I've seen those lots come back, and they're not in very good shape. They're fine if you have a like a garage sale or flea market type of scenario, or even on eBay, but do not you're going to see a lot of promotions to go buy these lots now from, I don't know if bulk does it, but I know there's a lot of other closeout places that will do it.
I don't know. Hello to Mike and the Barkin Effect and Sabrina who popped in. Hello, everybody. Good afternoon or good morning, depending on which time zone you're in. So for the inventory performance, so I wanted to go through the help article that I have in the description below. So pretty much they're saying, because I didn't really know like where the litmus test was with an IPI, what was good, what was bad, but it does say an IPI above 550 indicates that your business is excelling, which is a good benchmark. An IPI below 450 indicates immediate action should be taken to improve the score. So those are some good numbers. Mike said those kinds of lots are riddled with liquidated IP product too. Yeah, I believe it. I believe it.
And this morning there was a huge news flash that there is an increase in IP claims going on right now for different things.
Not surprised.
There's a lot of news going around about that right now.
Not surprised. So a better score is actually going to increase your inventory space that you have available. So after January 1st, for more than 400, you'll have unlimited storage. And then the IPI is based on 4 different factors: your sell-through rate, your FBA in-stock rate, excess inventory, and stranded inventory.
Yes, I just brought mine up.
And you can find those 4 metrics under your performance tab too. Yep.
I would say in focusing on this in the last couple of months, the 2 easiest things to do is your stranded inventory and your in-stock inventory, getting those to as much of 100% as you can. Have you found the same thing?
Yes.
Which I need to work on today, so I'm going to flag it while we're here. Yeah, your fixed stranded inventory, you just create a removal order for that and I usually go in about once a week and create a removal order for anything that's in the stranded, and price alerts will go into your stranded. So fix your price alerts. If you run a repricer, do not put your minimums and maximums in Amazon. I run Channel Max. I know there's a lot of other repricers out there, but you do not want to have your minimums and maximums in the Amazon system if you're running a repricer, because then they fight and you wind up in price alerts all day long.
Very true. Very, very true. Yes.
What was I going to say? For in-stock inventory, you can go through and you can hide those recommendations, and that will keep you at 100%. And that's a good way to help balance if you have excess or sell-through items. And for the excess and the sell-through, whatever makes sense for your item. Create a sale, lower your price, advertising. There's a bunch of different ways to get things to move faster.
Yes, absolutely.
Let's see here.
Karen at the beach said, having items recalled, glad to have the free shipping back to me. Totally agree. Totally agree. Drummer, how you doing, Drummer? Good to see ya. How do you deal with potential high pricing error? New buyer has similar item well below your price. Yes. So with those pricing errors, what I've learned is that Amazon bots go out onto the internet and look at other prices at, like, for example, Walmart.com. And, it might see your item on clearance at Walmart.com for $3, and we, went and did some RA at Walmart, and we have our listed at, $12. So it'll flag that as a price alert being high. How I've been dealing with them, actually, if I can't get my my asking price, like, I'll drop the price down to what I'm comfortable with. And then if it gives me another price alert, I've been recalling that inventory. And then I'm some stuff, actually, like I said, I'm having my porch sale. Some stuff I'll just get rid of through there, or I might hold on to it and send it in. And, I have no idea. 6 months from now, a year from now, I don't know how I'm going to handle that.
Yeah, I go through and I reactivate everything and make sure that if I do have minimums and maximums, because sometimes that happens in the Amazon page. I don't quite know how they get in there. Sometimes they do, but I will go through and make sure that my minimums and my maximums are in a range that my repricer is going to be happy with, and then reactivate that product. I've been having, over the last 2 months, I would say, maybe less, a ton of things getting just stuck. And no matter how much I reactivate or say it's fine, they keep flagging. And so for them, I will open up a case with Seller Central and say, hey, this keeps getting stuck. We need to knock it off. And then those aren't necessarily for price alerts, but just in your fixed stranded inventory. I've had them get stuck there, and no matter what their option is, they just won't go through.
Yeah, price alerts in general are very, very frustrating, Drummer. So I don't know if you're, experiencing a boom of them. I know over the summer I had a big boom of them, like in July, and it was so frustrating. Just especially if you didn't know what to do with them, just very, very frustrating. But it made sense to me once I learned that the bots go out and check the internet prices.
And they're always changing what they look for and stuff.
Yeah, the other thing I heard too is when you get a price alert, if you do recall your inventory and you want to send it back in later, is to delete your listing and send it in under a new FN SKU.
Oh, okay.
Yes, that's another little tidbit that I learned. I don't know if it'll work or not.
So speaking of recalling, I just wanted to share that when I first started out, I had a retail arbitrage find for some frozen bubble necklaces back in the day. This was years ago. And the price tanked. I mean, I went to Target. They were like $2 at Target. They were going for 14. It was a great buy. I bought, 60 of them or whatnot. And then the price just kaplunked. And that was my learning experience for doing RA at Target. Well, I wound up getting in on one of these free return things. So I had them all returned, and I wound up making a party bundle of them. And I think I did a pack of 6. So I was able to take the image out there and kind of make a 6-pack image looking, and I packed them up, and then I keyworded it to target party, birthday parties and things like that. Where you might want a quantity of 6. So think of other creative ways to get rid of your inventory. Say you're recalling toothbrushes. Maybe you can do a 3-pack or a 6-pack or something like that. And not just on Amazon, but maybe over on eBay or Mercari or Bonanza or something as well.
Yep. Good point. Good point. Oh, and I missed on Drummer's comment too. The new buyer has similar item well below your price. The robots will eventually catch up to that other seller.
Yeah, I've seen, and you'll see this every once in a while. There'll be some crazy item that's normally $12 and somebody's selling it for like $4. And you're going, you can even pay the fees at that. Right. What are you doing? But there are people out there that will go down below and will take a loss rather than sending it back. Let's say sending it back is 50 cents and, a loss is 35 cents or something. They'll go ahead and they'll take a loss on it just to move the inventory or to get reviews. If it's a private label type of item, I've seen that, people will want to get reviews and good feedback and et cetera. And so they're essentially paying for that to get their item out there. And then once they get a good review and they're making pages and whatnot, they're getting on the search engines, they will go and put their price back up. So you do see it. There are
Yeah.
some reasons for it.
Well, let's look at these metrics individually. So excess inventory pretty much is when you have too much inventory at the warehouse compared to how much you're selling. So the big takeaway on that was not to send in too many units of one item at one time. And to monitor your inventory age, which you can find under your inventory dashboard. For the stranded inventory, we pretty much talked about that. Just fix it. Fix it, recall it, whatever you need. Now's the time to do it, if you're going to recall it. Your FBA sell-through rate is very difficult for, especially for RA shoppers like me or sellers like me. It measures how well you balance your inventory levels along with your sales. So what they do is they take the number of units that they've shipped, actually have shipped, not just sold, but shipped over the last 90 days divided by the average number of units that you've had in inventory. So the sell-through rate, you can track how much traffic your product detail pages are getting, as well as your conversion rates in your business reports.
Yes,
so
that is.
That's probably my toughest metric to clean up.
Yes, because like me, we're kind of one and done type of peeps. I do have some that I replenish, but not when you look at my overall inventory, a lot of them are not going to be a replenishable type of item. And so, yeah, you need to go through and kind of be on top of that and clean things up.
And it's tough too to change listings. There's been listings that, when I shop now, I'm getting in, just since I'm improving every day, obviously. But, even now when I'm shopping and sourcing, I've gotten to the point where I look at the title, to make sure it's a good title and, things like that. If it's not a good title, I don't pick it up anymore, because I've had stuff that I've sent in like at the end of the summer that the title, when I was sourcing, I didn't notice it. The title is just white and then followed by the UPC number. I'm like, well, nobody's going to find that product. And, I've tried to change the title time and time again under edit or change the images, and it just,
yeah, a lot of times for us, it's not worth it. It's not worth the effort. Unless if you're going to go deep in on a product and you're going to, make a significant amount of money off of it, it's not worth your time to try and do that. And I've had the similar experiences where I just stay away from anything that's confusing, drama, anything like that. I've had one of my favorites to stay away from is where it just says assorted. Colors may vary. Yeah, assorted. And we'll just say like it's a keychain and there's a pig, a lion, and a bear, and it just says you're going to get assorted. Nobody wants that because they want a specific one. They don't want just a grab and go. They're not going to be happy with that. You're going to have high returns, bad customer reviews. They're going to want whatever's in the picture. So stay away from any listing that's going to be drama. And if you have those right now, get them recalled. It's free.
Good morning, Lisa. And the FBA in stock rate is the last metric, and that's a tough one too for us RA folks. So the best thing that I learned about how to improve that is to hide that recommendation. So they have now in Seller Central where you can go in and mark it as not replenishable. I don't know if that impacts the IPI or not, but I did hear that hiding those recommendations does help improve that metric. So again, these are things that you want to do on a regular basis, if not daily. And then to delete and close the older listings that you no longer have in stock. I've heard mixed reviews whether or not that helps out with your IPI.
I was going to say something now. I totally blanked. I can't remember.
That's okay.
I'll come back. It'll come back in a minute.
We were talking about the in-stock rate and hiding your recommendations.
Oh, I was going to talk about ads. That's what I was going to ask you. Do you run advertisements yet?
I do PPC.
Okay.
Yeah.
That I started this summer, and it has helped significantly.
Yeah, I started PPC early, and I do it on everything, honestly.
Yes, I run a couple different ones, and one is for all my stock. So I just always put them, throw it, adding my newer ASINs to that every week. And then I run some targeted ones for my top excess inventory. So that's what it's called. It's called like top excess inventory. And I've got whatever the top 20 items on there. I run extra advertisements on those. But I don't do any, like, I've seen some people that will run Facebook advertisements
No, I
and
don't do any of that.
outside the platform, and I don't do that either. I don't know if
Maybe
it's
if
worth
I
it.
was, deeper into one particular item, of course, you want to advertise, but not for the way I run my business, not in my business model.
Right. I think if you had some private label stuff, that would be more applicable. Okay, so today I got to go through my fixed stranded inventory. My in stock is good, and then my excess and my sell through. I will probably make some more recalls. And I wanted to just say that once you say you're going to ship back the items, it does take a little bit of time for that to all process and whatnot. And right now it seems like it's a bit slow. I did one 2 days ago, maybe 3, and I haven't seen that shipment like, hey, your shipment has been
Nothing yet.
processed yet. So I think the warehouses are a bit lagged out, and that's something to keep in mind with Q4, that if you are ordering supplies, if you're ordering stuff, everybody's busy. So everything's got some lag time. My companies that I wholesale with have some lag time. The warehouses are receiving in goods.
Yes.
Everything just takes a little bit more time.
Yeah.
So the time frames you're used to, don't think that that's what's going to happen during this time. And that goes into the IP claims. People are saying that they're submitting their receipts and whatnot, and the lag time for response from Amazon has been terrible. Like a week, which if you're out of business for a week, that could be awful during Q4.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So a couple FAQs. Again, one of the biggest FAQs was, how do you calculate the IPI? And there's no exact formula given. So this is what we know. This is it, guys. Another question was, what's the best way to improve the IPI? And that is getting rid of the unproductive inventory. The best way to increase your IPI and minimize your FBA storage fees is to keep your inventory at lean levels. How does my FBA in-stock rate affect my IPI? Your FBA in-stock rate indicates how much value you're getting out of your products by staying in stock on replenishable ASINs. However, IPI points are not deducted for running out of stock, nor for the type of inventory you offer. So to me, that sounds kind of backwards from everything we were talking about with in stock.
Well, I think it just means that there's no difference between categories. Like if you're selling, maybe pants and then somebody else is selling toys, there's no plus or minuses to one or the other. I do think that the actual space a product takes up is calculated into that formula somehow. That's just my theory. Just because they want the space. Right. So if you're selling wheelbarrows and I'm selling a bottle of probiotics, I think that that's going to count a little bit more towards you. But I don't know. I mean, we're not privy to that, and that's not a proven thing. That's just my guess.
So how does flagging an ASIN as non-replenishable affect my IPI? Flagging an ASIN as non-replenishable removes it from your FBA in-stock rate calculation, allowing you to better determine from your in-stock rate if lost sales due to stock outs on replenishable products are affecting your IPI score. That was a mouthful. So pretty much ASINs, including non-replenishable products with no inventory and no sales, will not affect your IPI score.
I don't have anything to comment on that.
Really? That's the first time you haven't ever had a comment.
No. No, Mike in the chat here says that he doesn't do anything to work on his score. And maybe you don't. Maybe you don't. So, they just implemented this scoring system, what, like a year ago, maybe a year and a half
It was
ago?
before I came along.
So
That's all I
not
know.
yeah, it's not been around for a whole lot of time. And if your score is within the parameters, then yeah, don't worry about it. You're doing good. If your score is awful, the first things you can do is make sure that you hide all of those recommendations. That would be like step one. Go hide everything, because that's really simple to do. And then the next thing to do would be to make sure your stranded inventory is all recalled or fixed in some form. And then I would go to your excess and your sell-through, and anything that is not moving, fix your prices, create an ad campaign, something, recall them, whatever you got to do, so that you don't have those items messing up your score. Yeah, Mike says his score is fine, always unlimited. So
Good.
yeah.
Whatever you're doing is right then. Maybe it's because you're also sourcing very well too. That's the other piece of the pie is, if you have well moving inventory, then your IPI score should be pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
It's awesome. Any other questions, guys? We just wanted to come on just for a short period of time and just give an update and a little overview.
I know there's a lag time with the video for when you ask and when everybody can answer. So are you working on your score today or doing anything with it?
I did it this morning. Yeah, I did it this morning.
Yeah, I kind of just looped it into my weekly to-dos, go add everything to my ad campaign. About once a week I clear out, delete old listings, and you can just sort those.
Yeah, it's amazing how much, even though, FBA is huge as far as outsourcing the amount of work that you're able to do, it's still amazing how much work is left to do on the computer, as far as managing your inventory goes.
Totally. I mean, I explain this to people who ask me, how is selling on Amazon, etc. And it's like, it's amazing. There's a lot of good things to it, but there's a lot of work that goes into running your own business that I would say the actual going out and sourcing and then shipping it in is like 50% of it. And the rest is figuring out why your stuff is stuck. Clicking. Yeah, I call it click work, which is I got to go down and work on, I got to go do some click work where I just click on different things and click through and make cases. And I don't think there's a week that goes by that I'm not making a case for some sort of reason. That's ridiculous. And then updating, my QuickBooks, updating my ad campaigns, updating my repricer, looking at inventory, clicking through and clicking on all those things. And I block that time out because, I used to get very distracted. I'd be listing something. I'm like, oh, I got to go fix my ad campaigns. And I'd come over and I'd do that. And now I kind of just block like, okay, that's going to be my click time. And then today I'm packaging. So that is my thing. And usually Monday mornings, I do all my clicking, which might not be the best time to do it, but that's what works for my schedule.
There's a question in here. I'm going to have Lucy answer, since I did not do FBA last winter. If you were an FBA seller last year, how slow was the FBA incoming process during November and December?
Black Friday week was pretty bad as far as getting things in. And let's see here. I would say that if you're going to ship for FBA for the Q4 rush for toys and whatnot, that you kind of want to have December 3rd-ish in your head, just so that you have enough time for that inventory to sell. But that being said, after people have Christmas and Hanukkah, they get gift cards and whatnot, and then they're buying the stuff that they didn't get. So things still sell very well all through January. So that was kind of eye-opening to me that for me, Q4 is November, December, January are my biggest 3 months. October is always good, but it's not as good as those three. I was shipping from Portland. the Saturday after Thanksgiving, because I went Black Friday shopping on Friday, spent all Friday packing up at my uncle's house. Their house was filled with like toys. It was really, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm taking over your living room and just putting stuff in a box and running it over to the thing. And let's see here. I want to say I got it out that Saturday and it was received in maybe the Friday next.
So about a week lag time.
Yeah, I would say it was probably an extra 3 days processing from whatever you're used to. And it was weird because I don't ship out of Portland a whole lot.
Mm-hmm.
When I got back in town, I know I shipped out a couple things on that first couple of days of December, and it was in inventory maybe between the 10th and the 15th. So add a couple of days. And it's always going to be different because what was it? I've seen advertisements for UPS and for Amazon that pretty much if you walk in right now, they will give you a job. That's what the commercial said. They are hiring like crazy. And so they've got to balance that hiring with the orders, with everything going on.
Arthur, welcome. He says, do you feel like you have all your ducks in a row for Q4? Absolutely not. Clear and transparent I am.
Here's the thing. As an entrepreneur, however good you do, you always think you could have done better. You know, you always reflect and you're like, oh, I had 3 minutes there. I could have gotten 6 more things shipped, you know? Yeah. So you always think things are better. But this year for Q4, I went to ASD. That was my big thing. And then I hooked up with some wholesalers, specifically toy and Q4 type of items. And I have spent, I think I was telling Marcy last week, like 10 grand in stuff to get in. And it is being received into the warehouse right now. I just checked this morning. And so I have done everything that I think I could do, you know, at the time of knowing it. Now going back, you know, I could have done more. You know, you always are going to critique yourself after the fact.
Yeah. Well, this is my first Q4 on Amazon. So yeah, it's my first Q4 on Amazon.
Yeah. Sabrina says that she shipped.
What I learned this year, I will carry over to next year.
Mm-hmm. Here's the thing that I've also learned, and I continue to learn, is that, you know, keep your prices where you want to keep your prices because they will fluctuate a lot in the next 3 months. And every time I've been a little bit scared, like, oh, this is too deep. You know, I bought 20 of this item. Is it really going to sell? I sell out. It's ridiculous. Halloween candy, Halloween items are just almost gone for me, which is good. Thanksgiving items have been selling for the last 2 months for me. And, you know, Thanksgiving is still 3 weeks out and I'm almost out of inventory for Thanksgiving. Not that I, you know, really target too much of that. And then Christmas stuff I have sold all year round. And my Christmas stuff that I picked up a couple of weeks ago has almost gone too. So wow. It's crazy that things just, they sell. My husband was commenting on some of this. You really sell this? I'm like, it goes. I don't know who's buying it, but it goes.
So I'm sorry, back to Sabrina. Last year I shipped until December 15th, but is it true keep shipping because January will be lots of sales? Exactly.
I would stop focusing maybe on Q4 toys by about that time, by about the 15th. Mm-hmm. And then my focus is more on pretty much anything else. You know, people are still going to get Christmas items maybe after the fact. I know I've had some Christmas things that have been broken or whatnot, and I want to get replacements for why it's fresh in my mind, especially Christmas ornaments and things like that. You may find Baby's First Christmas is a great example of that. So Baby's First Christmas for 2019, let me tell you, those will go on clearance, and you know, maybe somebody didn't get one for this year, or they didn't know if the baby was going to be born in 2019 or whatever. Those types of things could still be lucrative depending on what it is. You know, Spode is never going to go out of style, Ray Dunn, things like that. People will, maybe they break and they want to get them a replacement. And then I gear up. I'm still gearing up for workout season.
Yeah, I've got all kinds of inventory for that.
Mm-hmm. In order to start those New Year's resolutions, you need to spend some money on Amazon. Let me tell you, you can't work out without workout gloves, a new yoga mat,
I think
maybe a
I'm
yoga
kind of
block.
actually might be one reason why I don't feel like I'm prepared for Christmas or the gift giving holidays, is because I have been focusing more on January workout.
Sabrina brings up that new budget to replenish their office supplies. Exactly. Anything that's going on with the office, because you get that new job.
Filing, because, you know, it's the new year. Everybody wants things fresh.
Well, and companies get their budget to get new things. So, and it's also job season. So if you are looking to get a new job, this is the time. So that's why I'm buying a bunch of scrubs. You know, people get new jobs in the next quarter, and they're going to need new work uniforms. I know my friend is a nurse. You were a nurse when he switched jobs. It was like different colors they had to wear, or different sections. Pardon me. I get robocalls. Kill it. It's always Google. Google wants to know if my business needs to be advertised. I hate those. But anyhow, yeah, you're always getting new office supplies and things like that.
All right.
And then I was just going to say, and then we jump right into Valentine's Day. So the fun never stops. There's always some sort of season going on.
No. All right. I guess that wraps it up, guys. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for the questions. And we will see you next time.
Yes. Yes. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day.
You too.